Society establishes some of the institutions to maintain its continuity of life. For that, the society counts upon education. Education not only shapes the behavior of the individuals but also helps in transforming rich cultural heritage to the next generation. These institutions are called sources or agencies of education. Family is a group consisting of parents and their children living together as a unit. The family is regarded as the primary agent of education. The family as an agent of education. Parents are the most important agent for the child at very early stages of his development. From the child depends on them for his physiological and psychological needs. This is based on the premise that family is the first station of a child and where he learns the appropriate behavior patterns of the larger society. The role of the family in the education the child cannot be overemphasized. According to Akin Loye, family lays the moral and spiritual foundation for the child to build upon in later life. The family members teach the concept of good and bad or right and wrong right from infancy. Furthermore, family contributes to the intellectual development of the child. Family is the first social environment in the education of the child. Russell says family gives the child the experience of effective and of a small community in which he is important. He has also experienced the relationship with people of both the sexes and different ages and of the multifarious business of adult life. Thus, it is in the family that the child gets his first social relationships in which and through which he acquires and organizes his experiences. It is in infancy that he acquires many of the social patterns, habits, manners, and attitudes which determine his future adjustment. Again, it is in the family that he learns how to speak, talk, eat, wear clothes, live neatly, and greet others respectfully. Thus, family is the first and most important social agency which plays an important role in the socialization of child. Family is a well-knit economic unit. Real economic socialism prevails in the family because the golden rule of socialism. The child enjoys complete economic security and all his economic needs are fulfilled by the parents, which helps to provide a secure atmosphere for the overall development of the child. The child can study and acquire any type of training because he is not to worry about the expenses. Thus, the family provides the children with full economic security and freedom from economic worries. This is essential and helpful for a balanced personality of the child. Family is rightly called the primary school of civic virtues. It is in the family that the child learns the first lesson. In civilization, he receives training in discipline and self control. He learns to obey and respect the elders. He learns the importance of mutual rights and duties. It is also in the family that we feeling and sense of belongingness is developed. Thus, Misny is quite correct when he says that the first lesson of citizenship are learnt between the mother's kiss and the father's cares. The moral qualities are also embedded by the child at the family, as in the family, the child acts as others act. He thinks and feels as their members of family do. He accepts the family code as an essential pattern of his life. If the parents are honest, truthful, hardworking, courageous, and disciplined, their children will also imitate them in their day to day behavior. It is in the family that the child learns to show respect and reverence for all that is noble and to strive after purity of thought, word, and deed. Thus, family is a cradle for learning and imbibing the much needed moral qualities. The basis of religious and spiritual faith is also laid down in the family. Family plays special attention to the religious and cultural development of children. The parents generally impress upon the children to observe rules of religion in the family. The religious atmosphere of the family is automatically imbibed by the children. In addition to these, the family also takes part in various types of cultural activities. The family observes a certain code of conduct and emphasizes the virtue of noble life. All such good practices are inherited by the children and preserved as tradition of the family. In this way, the continuity of culture and religion is maintained in the family. Family is the first and the primary social organization that is available to the child. It is in the family that the child becomes aware of the world around him. There is interaction of the members of the family which provides social and socializing experience to the child. Thus, the first lesson of social living are learnt in the family. It is in the family that the child learns the basic functions of living. For example, the child learns to speak, act, dress and pick up many good things or habits imitating the other members of the family. It is in this atmosphere that the child's whole personality grows and develops. Thus, if development of a balanced personality is an objective of a good system of education, then family is the most effective educational agency. The infancy and the early childhood periods are the most impressionable years of a child's life. The broad basis of personality are laid down during this period. The family helps the children to form sound basis of personality, which proves to be very helpful for the future education of children. The family also provides vocational education to the children who wish to adopt the trade and occupation of their father. The girls, on the other hand, learn to do the role of housewives by helping their mothers at family and by learning from them. This training and education proves very useful to them in their later life. In olden times, when the social life was very simple, the family provided the child with all the activities and experience he needed. Then, so long as occupations were centered around family or village, the family, the place of worship, and the local community served as a school for a life. The children learned by imitating the work and life process of their parents and neighbors. But day by day, as the society became more complex with the growth of civilization and as human knowledge and experiences grew in written form, family and other informal agencies of education were found inadequate for the efficient transmission of cultural heritage to the future generation. Thus arose the necessity of a formal agency of education called the school. By and by, the knowledge and skills secured by the children became so complex that it became rather impossible for the family to transmit the same to the children. Thus, education of children became a specialized occupation of those persons who were highly learned and qualified for discharging these functions efficiently. These persons became to be known as teachers, and the agency through which the teachers imparted education to the children came to be known as school. In recent times, the school has assumed a very comprehensive role, so much so that the functions of the family and the community have also fallen on the school. Now, the school has to discharge not only its own educational functions, but also to provide what family and community provided in the past. The school has to provide total education, that is, education for knowledge, for skills, for understanding, for culture, for making a contribution, for a sense of belonging, for attitudes, and for a proper orientation to the modern world. Moreover, with the coming in of democracy, universal education has not only become a necessity in the modern world, but also an accepted social ideal. So, the school is required to discharge very important functions in modern society. The school conserves the valuable culture, tradition, values of the society and helps in promoting and developing these with the rolling of the time. It also spreads the store of culture to the next generation. For all-round development of the individual, school has a pack of programs. Through its different activities, it draws out the hidden potentialities of the child and develops them in a proper way. School helps in developing and cultivating good and higher values like truth, sympathy, love, cooperation in the child. Through different social interactions and moral teachings, it spreads the message of righteous living in a society. School is called a society in miniature because in school, child shares his feelings with various children coming from different areas. So he learns the lesson of social duty, responsibility and understanding the feelings of others. So school helps in social change and social control. School creates the first civic society for the child. So child learns the duty and civic rights for the country as a responsible citizen. So school trains this lesson of citizenship to a child. School prepares a child to face the problems of the society. So proper adjustment and application of learned knowledge can be checked and guided by school. So the main functions of the school is to provide adjustment capacity of an individual. Through different activities, school provides training in different vocations. It also cultivates the values of dignity of work and labor. It prepares children to face any challenge in the future to solve their bare necessities. To lead a successful life in the modern society, the individuals must acquire social efficiency. In a democratic society, the children must be trained in the democratic ways of life through education and the school programs must be planned accordingly. Training for the effective participation in democratic society and cultivation of a planned sense of rights and duties is an important function of the school. This is done by the school by having a clear concept of democratic ideals and then directing the educational programs accordingly. Potentially, community or society is an active agency of education. It has finance. It can create formal as well as informal agencies for the purpose of educating its members. Schools, cinemas, communication media such as press, radio, newspaper, library, and many other agencies work as organs of the community. It has customs, practices, and traditions. It has huge mass of accumulated experiences which is educative. All these provide material for thinking. There are group associates which children join. The community directly influences the child. Social influence. It develops civic virtues in an individual and inculcates in him the spirit of service, sacrifice, and cooperation. Political influence. True and true right. The political ideology of a community is reflected in the extent to which educational opportunities are offered to all its members and in the responsibility assumed by its political leaders for the educational programs of the citizens of the community. Economic influence. The community influences an individual in the way of life and in the choices of a profession and thus enable him to become an independent member of the community. Every community has a culture of its own. From the very beginning, the child sees the grown-up persons preserving and respecting their culture. All these prompts him to acquire the traditions, customs, ideal ways and manners of the community to which he belongs. Powerful educational influence. The educative influence of the community on the various aspects of child's personality is very powerful. Thus, community is a potential educational force which both the administrator and the teacher must realize. They should not work in subordination to it but should understand and work with it. Some disagreement may arise on certain points, but the same can be minimized or resolved through cooperation and sincere effort at both the ends. Mass media as agency of education. Mass media are a popular non-formal agency of education. Although the mass media have been widely utilized in adult education, development activities, agriculture and family planning, yet their use for formal education, that is for primary, secondary or tertiary education, has hardly been systematic or effective. However, fact remains it mass media are integrated with the total system of education, they can help in streamlining work in the fields of primary education, adult education, providing educational opportunities for continuing education, education of special groups of children, and so on. The education radio has far-reaching advantages in teaching learning process. It has numerous functions to perform in the school as well as in the classroom. Enriches school programs. If properly used and efficiently organized, radio serve can help a lot in enriching the existing programs in the school. Stimulates pupils' interest. Frequent broadcasts on national and international activities stimulate pupils' interest in national and international affairs. Supplements classroom instruction. Radio provides rich material to supplement existing source of classroom instruction and courses offered. Furnishes up-to-date information. Radio programs and school broadcasters furnish up-to-date and correct material on day-to-day happenings. Develops critical thinking. Radio broadcasters, if listened to attentively and carefully, help a lot in developing critical thinking in intelligent children. Leisure time interest. Radio is an important medium of useful and interesting leisure time activities. The classroom use of radio is a real test of a teacher. The best teacher is the one who is able to make the best use of every kind of experience in or outside the classroom. In case of radio, it is not enough to tell the pupils, now close your books, let us have the radio program. There are four major phases of classroom procedure in the use of the radio: preparation, reception, discussion and application and follow-up. The relative importance of each phase will depend upon the nature of the broadcast and upon its significance for the particular class which uses it. Preparation for the experience of listening is very important if the radio is to become a useful tool of teaching and learning. It should have clear objectives, gathering advanced information and motivation. This is the second important phase of classroom procedure. Reception, which involves proper listening, can be facilitated by providing suitable physical conditions in the classroom. The classroom should be well arranged for learning and listening. There should be no overcrowding. Provision must be made against interruption from without or distraction from within, such as incorrect lighting, poor ventilation, or uncomfortable seating facilities. The teacher should make sure that the radio is in perfect working condition and its volume is adequate enough to enable all the students listen to the broadcast properly. Immediately after the broadcast, a good discussion on the main points of the broadcast should follow. The information gathered may be applied properly. A proper follow-up students' understanding of the information gathered from the broadcast will serve a useful purpose. It will remove fallacies and misunderstandings, if any. The follow-up may be done in the form of short test covering the major points of the broadcast. Educational television, a product of mid-20th century, remains one of the most versatile audiovisual aids ever developed. More and more teachers as well as students running with the flowing stream of progressive education and being influenced by the potential value of television are eager to begin with its use in the classroom. The eye and ear mindedness of students makes television one of the most present day educational forces. Television has been said to be the blackboard brought to life, so it offers newness which attracts attention, creates interest, and stimulates a desire to learn. Educational television has useful educational values when used as a teaching device. Television combines the qualities of radio. It also combines sight and sound. Television offers uniformity of communication and versatile educational vehicle. It stimulates and reinforces ideas. Television offers opportunities of seeing and listening to on-the-spot events. Television enables the viewers to profit from leisure and recreational activities. Education usually performs three kinds of functions in the society. Education usually performs three kinds of functions in the society. Firstly, it transmits special or cultural heritage from one generation to another. It consists of various experiences, customs, values, and traditions of the people. Secondly, education conserves this cultural heritage through its courses of studies, textbooks, instructional materials, and different parties. Thirdly, education creates new social organizations and patterns in order to develop and improve the society in view of changing needs and conditions. In course of time, society has been developing a number of organizations and institutions to discharge various special responsibilities. These institutions and organizations are called the agencies of education. They shape their individuals in many ways. They shape their personalities, their knowledge, understanding, attitude, interests, values, and aspirations. Thank you.